No one sounds like you. We have to come to that realization that we are unique, regardless. We could say, oh, the industry is saturated. What am I doing that is different? Actually, even though you're doing what everyone is doing, you are doing it in your own unique way. Do you know the amount of coaches and mentors I've learned from? They were teaching songwriting. But I wanted to hear how this person was going to teach about songwriting, how the other person was going to teach about, because they have unique perspectives. And we all have to realize that for ourselves, that we might be in a saturated industry, but there is something unique about us, because that will keep us going, that will keep us motivated. There are some people that only you can reach. So even when it comes to thinking about doing a live on Facebook or doing a course, writing a book, you could say, oh my goodness, what am I going to write about? There are like a gazillion books on this topic, but actually there are some people that your unique story and your unique perspective will touch. So you are unique and you have something to offer. Moving on to the next point. You have something to offer. So if you can write it down, and I want you to say it to yourself. I have something to offer. I have something to offer. Okay. Now, I want us to move on to skill sets. And personal development. So, a couple of years ago, at the start of the year, I was thinking about just different ways that I could develop myself and just grow. And it was actually amazing, because I came across something on Facebook that if you downloaded it, or I think if you bought it actually, you will pick areas you wanted to work on. And it talked about things like communication, making new friends, emotional intelligence, and it essentially just gave you shortened versions of books. And it gave you a plan of, if you read the books, you will read a set of books and move on to the next, and move on to the next, and move on to the next. And I just found that very interesting, because there are some things that we overlook, but actually there are resources to develop or to grow in any area of your life, no matter what it is. I came across a course where someone was teaching how to tidy up a room. Mothers, does this ring a bell? Seriously, she said, you could start from the table. You don't have to be overwhelmed by the whole room, which I must confess, sometimes that happens to me. You don't have to be overwhelmed by the whole house. Pick a table in the room. Say, today I'm going to work on this table in the room. And then that's done. And you can pick on the other side, and she sold a whole course on that. And someone else was teaching about, do you know SOPs? Standard operating procedures, right? Essentially, you write a step-by-step procedure of how you want things done. And she was teaching us parents how we could teach our kids to do house jobs. So don't just say, go wash the toilet and expect them to figure it out. There were printouts that you could print out and say, the first step is to do this, and the next step is to do that. And if you bought a course, you essentially got a whole download of how to clean your room and how to and there's some things that we actually don't think about. But you can all you need to do is know that, oh, I think I need help in this area, and you go get the help. So personal development is something that we don't really think about, but I think is an important skill, because if you know you struggle in a certain area, there is help. There is help. You can grow in that area. And I'm hoping that as we just think about these things, we would, go find the help we need, because it's available. It can get on your to-do list for the year. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen because I want us to move on to the next task. Just give me 1 second. So I'm going to share my screen, and I want you to just get a piece of paper, if possible, and just draw the lines. So share screen. All right. So people on Facebook and Instagram, if you just get a piece of paper. Hi, Stella. Oh, is that Andy? Hi, Andy. If you get a piece of paper and draw 2 lines. Okay, I'll show you. Just draw 2 lines across like that. And at the top, you say now. And you leave the middle, and at the other end, you write in 12 months. And then at the top, you write personal goals. The middle, you write spiritual goals. And at the end, you write personal development. So starting from personal goals, I want you to think about where you are now. So start from where you are now, okay? And just write about what you're like now personally. It could be anything from, weight, health. So for me, weight will definitely be on it. I weigh this amount. Anything you can change, obviously, because the plan will be to work on it during the new year. I don't cook, or I don't know how to cook. Anything that you want to do with on the personal side of things. Single. I want to get married. I don't have a job, or I don't like my job. That will come tomorrow, because we're doing career tomorrow. But anything that you want to write, that you want to work on over the next year, you can write what stage you're in currently. Moving on to spiritual goals. Are you happy with where you are spiritually? You can write, I am in a church that I like. I serve, or I don't serve in church. I pray every day. I have a quiet time that I use to reflect, to pray, to study, to read the Bible, things like that. So how you are now, personal development. I have a lovely relationship with my children. Okay. All right. Are you done writing to the left? Are you done with all of that? So we're going to write personal goals, spiritual goals, personal development. Give me a yes if you are done, and I'll move on to the next one. All right, so moving on. Now, if you go to the far right, and 12 months time, what do you want? What do you want to see? And actually, I want you to do it as a present tense. So essentially, if you want to be 10 kgs lighter, right? I am 10 kgs lighter. I am healthier. I am more confident. I am I have healthier relationships. My blood pressure is normal. Okay, now, the middle row, I want you to write any roadblocks you have. So what is stopping you from going from the first column to the last column? What is stopping you from doing that? What are the roadblocks? I don't have time to go to the gym. I have a horrible diet. Is it poor motivation? Is it I don't have the money to go to the gym or time to go to the gym? Is it I don't have the right supports? I'm not disciplined. Really, really important to write this down if you can. Really, really important, because we're going to do something with it. So for me, I was writing things like I have a poor diet. I love sugar too much. Sweet tooth. Poor motivation. Time. I am not a morning person. Can we move on? All right, so really, there's something really important that I want to point out about these things we've written down. So, when we were born, we didn't have any fear. So essentially, you will see kids that have no danger awareness at all, climbing trees, not afraid of heights, climbing, they essentially don't know how to fear. So we grow to learn about fear. And we are taught it. And sometimes it's by our parents, because they want to protect us. But essentially, we grow to become fearful. And sometimes we tell ourselves certain things because life has happened to us and has given us kicks in the backside. And we build up a list of evidence that essentially supports these beliefs we have. So, can you type in some of the things you've written down? Or I'm going to can you unmute yourselves? Because if you can also shout out some things that you've written down as well. So type if you can and just shout it out if you can. So what are some things you've written down? Anyone type in or can go ahead and unmute if you want to. So I have a problem with being consistent in anything I set out to do. So lack of focus, lack of clarity, lack of consistency. Anything else? Come on, folks. What are the things you've written down? Okay. Lack of energy, lack of motivation. Fear of rejection. Unable to commit due to outside factors. Okay, okay. All right. So, lack of time. So you've put down perceived. That's very interesting. It's almost like you're actually talking yourself out of giving the excuse. Perceived lack of time, lack of energy and motivation. Can you write your name? Because I still don't know who you are. It just says Facebook user. So perceived lack of time, lack of energy and motivation is really interesting. So what if I told you that all of these things are, okay, poor planning? Okay, what if I told you all of these things are BS? BS. Because in the right situations, you won't be doing this. You'll be doing the exact opposite in the right situation. So you can. So Mandy. So Mandy hit the nail on the head with your perceived lack of time. It's perception. Perception is everything. It is. It's perception. So time, you can find the time. You can. Fear, actually, if you fear a result, you fear that you might be rejected, you fear that you might fail. Actually, if you stopped yourself from taking that action and you stayed there, is that not still failure? Because you probably don't want to be there. So you should probably fear that more, you should probably fear that more. So energy, it's all perception, people. It's all perception. It is. So if you go back to your books again, or paper, and all of the things that you've written down, I want you to write the opposite, okay? Write a new belief. Write a new belief. Okay, so if you said fear of rejection, you could change that to I want or I deserve success more. Empower yourself. I love myself enough to step out. I have plenty of time to exercise. I am motivated. And actually start writing them down. Actually start writing them down. I have the energy. I have the motivation. I can commit to things. And I can follow through. Despite of external factors, I can do it. And sometimes the questions are more important. So instead of saying, oh, can I or can't I? Instead ask, how can I? That question, that changes your perception. It does. Instead of saying how, you say, how can I do it? How can I do it? And you begin to look for a way to do it. That is the mindset of success. That is the mindset of success. How? Asking the right questions. How can I do it? How can I do it? Because you can. You can. Tayo, you can definitely plan. You can. That's why you're here. So you've essentially started planning. You've taken a step. You are here. All of you said, I'm tired. I don't want this status quo. I don't want to continue like this. I want an even bigger year. Some of you might have had a good year. I know some of you might have had a good year, but you are here because you want to take it up to the next level. And I celebrate you for that, actually, because many people signed up for this and are not here right now. So the fact that you showed up is important, and you are already heading in the right direction because you are here. So just keep writing, and what I want us to do is to read it out to ourselves. And if possible, on Zoom, I want you to unmute. Because I want you to read it out, and I want to hear you read it out if possible. Because there's something about hearing yourself say it. There's something about it, about speaking it. speaking it into reality, speaking it. And as you speak it and continue to speak it, you begin to see it. And then that how question, that begins to work because you begin to get glimpses of how it can be possible. Sometimes it's just opening up yourself to the possibility. That's it. Just opening up yourself and doing something different. All right. Okay. So if you can unmute yourself and when you're ready, is everyone ready? I want you to say it and I want you to keep saying it to yourself until we stop, okay? I am motivated. I get stuff done in time. I have plenty of time to exercise. I have plenty of resources. Plenty of money. Responsibility is a sign of growth. I can afford it. I live in abundance. I am worth every penny of what I charge. People pay me for what I charge. I make money with ease. I'm miles ahead of the person who hasn't started yet. So people that have imposter syndrome, this is for you. I'm miles ahead of the person who hasn't started yet. There is a place for me in this market. I'm uniquely gifted. I value my relationship enough to work on it and excel at it. I value myself enough to eat or have sugar in moderation. I value myself enough. Some of you can write this down as well, if it's sitting right with you, write it down. For people that think the color of their skin is an issue, I'm uniquely placed because of my background. I have a unique perspective, and that's a gift. For people that say, I have too many things going on, I have too many responsibilities. I'm a mom, I work full-time or part-time, I have this, I have that. Responsibility is a sign of growth. Are you guys saying these to yourself? How's that sitting with you? Good. I want you to say these things every day. I want you to pin it up on your wall where you can see it. Put it up on your wall where you can see it, say it every day, and say it with attitude. Like number 10, say it out, say it like you mean it. What I want you to do actually is to pin it up on your wall. Okay? If you can tear up your paper, the place in the middle where you wrote your roadblocks, you can tear it up slowly and get rid of it. No, so there's a place for you to write it on the worksheet, Sharon. But if you've written it on a piece of paper, you can just pin that on the wall. So here, yeah. So new beliefs, okay? Really, really important. So we've talked about our personal lives. We've written some goals down. We've written some goals about our spiritual lives. And we've written some goals about personal development. I want you to, so on the worksheet, can you see my screen, yeah, with the worksheet? So starting from below, I want you to pick 3 actions. And now that you've decided to follow this new mindset, now that you know the other ones are just perception, it's not reality. I want you to think big again and decide if you want to have new goals, or if you can even go bigger on the ones you've written now. So the first time when the first things that you picked, the first goals that you picked, can you push yourself a little bit more? Think about them. And then go to the 90-day, to the lowest row. Start from there and pick 3 top actions, 3 goals that you want accomplished in the next 90 days. And you can start writing them down. So action 1, action 2, action 3, 90 days. Now, there's a reason why I said, write, I am doing this, I am, and not I will. Because you can essentially start acting like that. So there is something that they talk about in business. They say, picture what you want at the end and start acting like that now. So if you want a 6-figure business, you could essentially start acting that way now. What sort of things would you do differently if you were your goal currently? What sort of things would you do differently? There's been so much that has changed for me over the last year. So much. It's been such a journey. So much growth has happened because I set out on a mission, and I essentially said, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And very quickly, I realized that it was going to take more than just wishing it. And I started to ask myself, how? Because there were, we are busy. It's true. We are. We're moms. We have kids. Multiple things happening, but it's still possible. I look around and there's something that I see for successful people, even if they're busy. It's almost like the reward of growth is even more growth. And the reward of being busy is becoming even busier, because these people that are really successful, they are doing multiple things. They have multiple businesses. They have multiple hands in different pies. And how did they get there? They asked themselves how. They actually attempted it. They asked the right questions. How? It didn't happen overnight, but it's being open to it. It's being open to it. So for the next 4 days, well, now 3 days, Mandy, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. For the next 3 days, ask yourself how. That's the big question I want you to take away. How? And it might not even come, but when you begin searching for that answer, it will come. Open up yourself to the possibility and ask the right questions. Open up yourself to the possibilities, ask the right questions. How does that feel? So, growth work. If you go in the group, I'm going to put the post on Facebook now. I want you to go on the group, and beneath the post where it says Day 1 growth work, write your top 3 actions, okay? And in your own time, I mean, you can fill this out, but you start from 90 days where you want to be. What resources you need to do it. Do you need a course? Do you need more research? Do you need to ask around? Are there people you know that are good at these things you want to work on? Maybe you want to work on a certain area. You want to work on being more organized. You want to work on planning more. And you know there are people that are really good at it. Resource needed might be to have a conversation with them and ask them how they're doing it. And then sometimes you have to write who needs to do it, okay? If it's you, you write me. If you need to ask someone to do a task, maybe your spouse, you can write him. And then you can go to the 60-day, okay? And then go to the 30 days. So for the growth work, I want you to put the top 3 daily actions moving on. So essentially for the next 30 days, your top 3 daily actions. And it doesn't like it's essentially the actions that will move you, that will make the most difference to you, that will move you closer to your overall goal. So this is going to take a little bit of work after we get off the call, but essentially have a think and pick your top 3 actions. They say you shouldn't be trying to establish new habits, multiple new habits together, right? So you can just pick 3 and start with those. And those 3 things are what you should put in the group. Your takeaway. And then, let me just move this down. Success indicators. So if it was like your weight and you wanted to lose 5 kg in 3 months, then you'll be thinking of losing 1.5-ish a month, something like that. So that success indicators, 1.5 kg. Or you could use a picture, just take a picture, and if there's a difference you're seeing, that could be your success indicator. So what for you will be that you're succeeding in what you're planning to do? You write that there, and the done will just be a tick box at the end of your first 30 days. Any questions? I value your time, so I'm not going to keep you for longer than the hour. Sandra, welcome. All of this is being recorded, so I'll send it to you. Any questions at all? Thank you so much for people that have joined on Instagram. Hi, Omid. Hi, Tyler. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Stello. Tomorrow, we're going to move to career and finance. Those are, I'm sure, ones that you're looking forward to, because everyone can do with a little bit more money in their accounts, can't they? Everyone can. So tomorrow will be about finances. Come here ready to write, come here ready to engage. Any questions before we go? Great, okay. I'm gonna let you guys go then. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. I will see you tomorrow. It's not too late to invite a friend to join you. Okay. All right then, take care. Bye.